All right, 2005 Honda Accord. Replacing the power steering pump. Here's the power steering pump from O'Reilly's for this car. This is a remanufactured power steering pump. All right, here's what we got to do. Take the belt off. We need to loosen. Oh, get down here so the sun doesn't drown out the video. Got to take the idler pulley, put a wrench on the bolt there, and loosen that. Next thing we got to do, we'll take this hose off, return line. We'll take this hard line. This is a pressure line. We'll take these two bolts off. That'll disconnect everything from the pump. And we take this bolt off, and then we'll take. Let's see if I can get my finger next to it there. This bolt right here off. We get that bolt off, then power steering pump will come off. All right, getting started.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you're outside, even though you gotta have a mask on, anywhere on the ship, unless you're in your room.
I don't know what.
Well, thank you, Greg.
Can you imagine the face mask?
That's not.
So there's the belt.
Anyway, I was
All right, gonna take this hose clamp off. It's an automotive hose clamp tool. This tool is not worth a crap, just so you know. You're better off with freaking needle nose. But I'm going to use it just the same
He told me to lift my mask
because it locks. Okay, so there it is. I got it loose, and we'll just walk it down a little bit rather than use my... Alright, so we're going to break this loose. To get these hoses off, you got to pull it down, but use it. Kind of sticks to the nozzle there, so you got to take a hose clamp or something like it and just kind of spin the hose, and you can see where it's not wanting to spin, and then it breaks loose there. That's all you got to do. Then you can pull the hose down. Now you're going to get fluid dripping right here, so you might want to put a rag or some paper towels underneath there. So we're going to put some paper towels here. All right, so I got some paper towels underneath there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this hose and I'm going to put it on the other side of this hose here and this air conditioner hose and let it stick up so it doesn't drain fluid. I'm going to do it barehanded instead of gloves because I can't operate my phone to make this video. So there we go. Put that underneath there. It'll stay right there until we're done. All right, so it's going to drip a little bit. See a little bit of fluid there. All right, next, pressure line, 10 millimeter wrench with an impact driver bit there with my impact driver to tighten them up. Snug them up with the impact driver, but tighten them using a ratchet wrench in your hand.
CAR that says car.
All right, there's a
Come on,
this flange. On the other side of this flange, it extends on down into the frame of the power steering pump, so you got to come out straight. There's an O-ring there. And there's some fluid. See that? Clean that up. All right, so what I'll do is I'll get some extra paper towels. Put this hard line. I'll take this bracket bolt right here off, 10 millimeters. It'll hold this line, and I can move this line out of the way. All right, 10 millimeter. Back it right off into the bracket. I'm just gonna move it over, set it over here on the other side of my engine. All right, so we're gonna take that bolt off right there. Say 12 millimeter. I've got a rather long wrench. available at your handy dandy Harbor Freight. All right, so I had to push the AC hose down just a little bit, get it up there, break that bolt loose. Oh, there it went, broke loose. Broke it loose. Oh, there it is. There's the bolt. Break this bolt loose. All right, now this is finger tight. This is finger tight as well. I can turn this with my fingers as long as the power steering pump is not leaning on it. So I'm gonna set you down and use both hands. There was the bolt. Now, remember you got power steering fluid in here, so I'll take it out, try not to spill it everywhere. There it is, power steering pump. All right, I got it out of there. You can see how greasy and dirty it is in there. So before I put the other one in, I'm gonna take this opportunity to degrease the area. What am I gonna use? Well, of course, something that's safe, like Oxy shower and tub cleaner. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not using that. Okay, here's what I'm really using. Easy Off Cleaner Degreaser. Yes, this stuff works really well. All right, we'll clean it up. Gotta switch hands.
You didn't realize how long it takes you to do stuff videos?
You know how long I didn't have to pay for stuff? Because I was able to watch a video. It's time to return the favor, baby. Time to return the favor. Isn't that right, fellas? Glad to have a little assistance, right? All right, this is something that I bought to use with my car. It's a toilet bowl cleaner. It does good on the rims, but I'm going to use it here as well. All right, I'm not going to rinse that off, not yet. We'll put the power steering pump back on. Here's the power steering pump that I got. Okay, here's what we got to do. We got to take this hose fitting off. We need to relocate it here. We need to take this pump off. I mean this part, sorry, this pulley off. Put it over here. And that's about it. We'll take this hose fitting off. We'll use an impact driver. I'm going to use a toe to keep it from spinning. Take it off there. Comes off. There's no ring right there. I want to check it, make sure it's not damaged. It's just a return, so it's not that important, but I do have replacement O-rings here that came with the pump. All right, so on this pump, take my needle nose pliers here and pull that cap out. There we go. So I'm gonna look at this real close. Sorry if it's not on the camera. I'm not trying to video it as much as I am trying to see it. I don't see any real problems. Make sure it sits in there relatively tight. It's just the return side. There's no pressure. So snug that up, but don't put any real torque on it. All right, so we're gonna pause right there. All right, this is an 18 millimeter nut that needs to come off to get this pulley off. This is a 3/4 inch wrench. It's about the equivalent, so you can use it. I put a long 3/8 extension through one of the gaps in the pulley, turn it until it stops, and you can break the pulley loose. We'll set you right there. While you're doing this, your pump is still going to be looking fluid, so keep a rag underneath it. You don't want it to get into the ground. Once you break this nut loose, it's a matter of just taking your nut off and then lifting your pump up, lifting your pulley off your pump, your pulley, and then seating it onto your new pump and putting your nut on. All right, partway there. My dog. Okay, this nut needs to be torqued down to 47 foot-pounds, and then remove this cap and we can replace it in the engine. However, before we do that, the two O-rings that came in the pack are right here. The bigger of the two goes on the pressure line. If you look at the pressure line, you see how this O-ring bulges out just a little bit, just a hair. That'll make a seal, but probably not, you know. If it's completely flat, it's not going to make a seal. So I'm going to swap this O-ring out for the larger of the two. Wedge it in there. It'll start coming out. You want to stretch it around the bottom. Oh, I lost it. It's going to be as difficult if I was willing to just break it. But there it is. And you can see that O-ring. I don't know if you can or not. But you can see the size of that O-ring in relation to that O-ring. This one's bigger. This one is compressed and tight. It's not very rigid either. It's kind of, you can see the size. I don't know if you can tell, but there's a size difference. This one is compressed and tight. So I'm gonna put this one on. I got oil on my fingers, so I'm gonna coat this O-ring in a little bit of power steering fluid that I have on my fingers. Just gonna roll it on. There you go. All right, now you can really see it bulge out on the edges there. So, but that will get compressed over time too. So if you ever have to do this again, you'll have to replace your O-ring again. So, all right, continuing along, I'm gonna get the pump, put it in, and then we'll keep moving. All right, got to use two hands. So the phone will have to come later. So naturally, I'm gonna do the one up top here. And then take this lower bolt, put it in here, move the pump around just a little bit so it lines up. All right, 12mm wrench. I have no idea what it would be, but it is aluminum, so be careful when you tighten. I probably got that somewhere around 30 pounds. Now that I've got this thing installed, I'll put that long extension in between the pulley. I'm going to tighten this down. Alright, I'm going to show you this just in case you don't know it. Usually everybody knows this, but if you need to put a little more leverage on there, I got a long wrench. I put the box end over the open end, making my wrench longer. Just got to be careful. So anyway, it's got to be 47. I'm going to get it close first. I'll come back and torque it later. Alright, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the belt back on before I put the hoses back on. So let's try to do that. It's got to be over the crankshaft pulley, air conditioner, which is way down there, the alternator, power steering pump. It's just one belt. Just one belt. Usually if on Honda type vehicles or Acura, if there's a second belt, it's only for the power steering pump. So it's all the same, so we got to get them all lined up and put them on. So it'll take me a couple minutes to do that. Alright, now that I've got the return line on, I'll take the cap out of here, one hand, shove that needle nose just a little bit in there, kind of wedge that thing in a little bit and then pull it off. You can see how deep I had to get on it to get it out. Not very, but a little bit past the little lip. See that? A little bit past the lip, but not much, and it'll come off. Take my pressure hose. Got a nice clean mating surface in there. That's what that plug was for. Put it on. Make sure it goes down in there tight. And then get my bolts. Yeah. I was going to take her to the vet. All right. Start your bolts back. That was my wife asking me about my dog. I was going to take her to the vet this morning, but we're going to do it tomorrow. All right. Here we go. Yeah. All right. I'm going to run these down with my impact. I'm not going to tighten them up too much. Either use a ratchet wrench or a combination wrench like this. Combination being open and box end. I always tighten these up by hand. Alright, gonna put you down. But that's the complete install. You don't lose a lot of fluid when you do this. Still good on my reservoir there. So I'm gonna get all the tools off, get all the cleaning supplies, everything, start her up. Alright, so we'll crank it up, see how it does. Try not to get in the way too much. Turn the wheels to the right. Did you turn the wheels to the right? Turn them to the left. I'm having my daughter turn the wheels. Look at there, no squealing, good sounding pump action. Alright, cool beans, stop right there. Alright, you can cut it off. Alright, so we know we ain't got to correct anything. I'll go ahead and put this one bracket I left loose just in case we had to do anything. Saw no leaks. Looks like we're golden. Anyway, that's the way I did it. Kenzie, tell them to subscribe and like.
Subscribe and like.
Yeah, it helps us out with the Google algorithm, right? Cheers, everybody. Have a great day.